you have a contract that says do not act in a certain way outside the premises, and if you go outside the terms of that contract, what happens? Are there repercussions? We have something called the International Labour Organizations Convention 158 of 1982 that talks about wrongful termination. So before you can even start talking about, oh, I was terminated in this, my employment was terminated in this sort of way, what happened? Were there steps that were taken? I mean, that convention says before you terminate a person's employment, you have to actually give the person a fair hearing. Was she given an opportunity to speak? We don't know. Even if she has said something, we've not heard from the bank side. So if she was given an opportunity to speak, that's the fair hearing rule under the Constitution. That step is done. Was she given was the bank given an opportunity to investigate? Did they set up a disciplinary committee? We don't know about that. But these are the steps that have to have been taken before you can actually go ahead and terminate a person's employment. So once we find out whether these steps were taken in any situation, even aside from this situation, then it means that termination was proper. So if these ingredients were not in place, it wasn't proper. That's what I have to say.
All right, let's go on a quick break. It's time to pay a bill or two, and we'll be back.
It's all about the music we play. The music we play.
Before, my family can go 1 week without drama. 1 week, one wahala. Maggie, love, oh, me and Maggie so good together. Yeah, okay, now my Maggie make you right. Come with peace, oh, peace. Wanna come at all, oh, before, Maggie, love, oh, me and Maggie so good together. Me and Maggie so good together.
Hey, this is Cardi B.
This is Post Malone.
It's Katy Perry. Where hit music lives.
24/7, 365.
Rhythm 93.7. 93.7.
All right, so Lagos is still Dear Louie on Rhythm 93.7 FM, and I've got Chidebere and Irabo here with me. Hi, Irabo, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, so we've entered a time where being a content creator is a legitimate career. Some people quit their job, their 9 to 5, their business, and they're like, you know what, yes, I want to be a content creator. Some people have audiences bigger than the company that they work for. And I've even seen situations where sometimes you might not necessarily get a job if your following on social media is not up there. So should organizations be changing the way they think about employees who have personal brands? Should maybe preferential treatments be given to them, special treatments, or they should just allow for these things to happen, you know, given this whole thing that has happened now?
I mean, I thought what the far left has been peddling is equality. So if we now start giving preferential treatment to certain people because of their follower count, I don't think there is a balance. But I'm of the belief that in as much as we may have been created equally, we don't eventually become equal. There are people who are miles ahead of me. There are people who are below me. Doesn't mean that they too cannot also eclipse me. So I don't think that because of the proliferation of technology and all that, I don't think certain things have to change traditionally. Certain, I'm not saying that all things or none at all. Certain things, you have to adapt. I mean, you definitely have to have a phone that has a good camera these days. If you don't, you cannot. You know, there are certain things you just have to adapt. Your screen, your laptop. I mean, I'll give you an example. I went for a meeting this week. The billionaire that I was meeting with, I was showing him something on my laptop, and the man scrolled my screen, and my laptop is not touch screen. I have to tell myself that,
I'm sorry.
Irabo, you have to go and get a laptop that has. So I have to adapt. I cannot now be strong and be like, no, you love me as I am. No, I'm looking for a big contract, so I have to fall in line. But in the meantime, if I don't even have the funds to get a touchscreen laptop, I will do my best until I'm able to. So I'm using this analogy to say that I don't want wokeism, all the isms to now
All the isms, okay.
yes, all the isms, all the every to now start changing certain things that need to be in place. I'm not a fan of that. Like the family structure, like there's this thing about people just want to now choose to go and have kids without fathers. I'm not in support of that at all. Like, so if we're not going to have to do things similar to that in the workplace, I'm not in support of that. Yes, should you accommodate people that have huge followings? Fine. But the people that even have huge followings, they should now not seem too big while they now have a job. Because if you are too big, why do you have a job in the first place? Why are you looking for stability of a salary? Why not go out to the trenches and try to see, how you can wing it? So people should get off their high horse and their soapbox and just try to be decent, great human beings. The rest will follow. That's how I see it.
All right. So what makes, workplace content different from other content? Is it simply filming inside the office, maybe talking about your colleagues or the organization? Does it get more complicated as you talk about your experience and all of that?
Yeah, definitely. It does, because there are certain sensitive information you cannot share, no matter how up to date and how informed you want to appear to your followers. There are some things people don't need to know about. Do you want to now go and start doing a TikTok where they are doing high level covert operations at the White House or even in Aso Rock? Then you now go and mistakenly capture the nuclear launch codes and it's on the internet. We can't be doing that now. They're like, no, now why you acting too strict? Of course we have to be strict. You can't go and share or put on online your admission letter and the email of the admissions officer is there. There's no sense in that now. We have to call it what it is. There is really no sense in that, because that person would not want their email to be out there. Did you even ask for permission? So when I see those things, I'm always, skeptical about it. So the world is evolving. Everybody is trying to create their own rules. If you're not for something, you're against something. Nobody wants to actually have a level head. So it's a very murky situation at the moment. Everybody is figuring it out, in my own opinion. I don't think there's an ideal playbook. I think it's going to be suitable for whatever vocation or whatever institution you're a part of. And once you are a part of it, make sure you read the fine lines. See what's going on with Peter, Jude, and the rest. People that shared wombs are, double timing each other, and look at what's going on the internet. So again, people should just try their best to follow the guidelines. And if you have any issues with it, follow the due process. If there is no due process, meet your Baba God. Simple.
All right, Shidi, you were listening to him. What are your thoughts?
On this particular aspect, I would say it still comes down to policy and image, right? So once there's a policy in place, follow it. If you have an issue with the policy, take the proper procedure to challenge the policy. Companies have internal remedial schemes where you can actually say, I don't like this, let's tweak it a bit, and then it follows that process, it gets amended, and once you've amended it and you're okay with it, employees are once a company is about to change a policy, they owe the employees a duty to notify them, right, that this is what we want to implement, be it digital use policy, laptop use, social media policy. They let the employees know, especially when it's going to adversely affect the employees. They let them know, and then they are given the opportunity to actually say, I don't want this policy, and if you don't want it, you let them know the reasons and they take it up from there. So I'll still say it comes down to policy, it comes down to image. If you're in a place where the image doesn't, they call it cultural fit, I'll say that especially when you're entering a new organization, one of the things they look out for is this a good cultural fit? That's why they ask you for maybe your social media handles and other things they ask for in those recruitment procedures, just to go and know who is this person we're trying to bring into our organization. Does he or she fit into our culture? Is this person going to affect the employees, the existing employees? Will this person come and then you have a huge attrition after the person comes? People start leaving because the person has come on board. So they try to check these kind of things. And if you're not a good cultural fit, you just get that email saying, oh, we regret to inform you. I'm sure some of us have received that email sometime in our lives, right? So yes, like I said, it comes down to image and policy. Irabel made a good point about being careful, right? Even if you want to do content, you need to also be careful, whether it's this issue or any other issue. Companies have media rooms, by the way, right? Companies that promote social media have their own media rooms where people go in to, shoot their content, take pictures. So it also still boils down to policy. Where there's a strict policy saying, oh, don't do this outside the workplace, do this in the workplace, then you comply. If you don't comply, there are repercussions or there are penalties for it, right? Every place, even in church, the Bible has repercussions for everything. I'm not an expert on the Bible, so I'll stick to law. Everything has a repercussion. Your employment contract, once you don't do as, even the employers have their own penalties to pay when they don't follow what is in the terms and conditions of their employment, right? It could have been the other way, right? What if the employer did not provide certain things? Like, one of the obligations of an employer is to provide a safe work environment. What if the office space is not conducive for working or for doing what you're supposed to be doing at the office? I mean, that would be an issue for the employer to take up, or for the employee to take up with the employer. So it goes both ways. Everybody has their obligations, and you stick to the terms and conditions, T's and C's of the employment contract. So yeah, policy and image.
Okay, so you said a lot, and the truth is, everybody has their own responsibilities, right? But let's come to companies now. Companies have their responsibilities as well. Now, how much of this should an employer explain to an employee before it even becomes a problem? And even when it's a problem, how much grace should they be given?
So for private employment, that's not for me to say. In private employment, they have a bit of liberty in drafting their employment contracts. When it comes to public employment, I mean, you have the Civil Service Commission Act and all of that. Those are statutory employments. They go by way of whatever the statutes have provided. But even the Labour Act provides, I mean, the private employers have a bit of liberty in drafting their employment contracts. So while they may have that liberty, the courts are also there to put a check on them. So to the extent that it doesn't affect the employees, such policies are okay. If I remember your question well, you said if please can you recall the question? Sorry.
Okay, so I spoke about responsibilities, right? We all have responsibilities, employer, employee. How much of this should an employee should we explain to your employer, and like how much grace and all of that before it becomes a problem?
Yes, so in such employment contracts or the conditions of employment, employee what do you call it now? Conditions of employment, yes, let's stick to that. So they have certain parameters or certain sections where you say, oh, if this person commits this particular offense after 3 times, or you first get a verbal warning, you get a written query, and then after that a disciplinary committee is set up for you. So it depends on the category of offense. You have simple offenses, maybe gross misconduct, and then the organization is at liberty to tell you what constitutes a gross misconduct. There are cases that say it's a gross misconduct is where it actually affects the reputation of the organization, or where it is actually very grave and too bad that it cannot be ignored, right? So how many times should the employee be notified about it? Depends. It might be up to 5 times, 3 times, 4 times, as it may be. But let there be a written contract that says how many times. That's where you come to the procedure. So even if it's 1 time, so far you agreed, and then it's in the contract that says once you have 1 warning and then you do this again, then it's going to be taken as a gross misconduct. So a gross misconduct can also be when you've been given 3 queries on a particular thing. So it's now it now constitutes a willful disobedience. Yeah, so.
Well, you know that a lot of us forget. A lot of people
Yeah,
forget.
so the law says ignorance is not an excuse under the law.
Okay,
obviously, yeah.
there is that. Ignorance is not an excuse because we're giving these things, and maybe some people read, some people don't read it.
We'll get to that. So even when all these policies, all these terms and conditions we keep on signing online when you're opening a new application, that one is a topic for another day. So you actually need to go through the fine print to know what you're getting yourself into.
Iraba, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's get into warnings now. If an employee has been told more than once that this thing that you are doing is a problem and they continue to do it, does that now change the conversation for you? Because we're no longer talking about someone who doesn't know. We're talking about somebody who is maybe aware, We're talking about somebody that decided to continue. Because this issue is dicey. The issue that we're talking about, is dicey because she was giving, I think, 2 warnings. I think she did the first time, and then I don't know if I don't know if she forgot, and then she went to do it again, and it was still an issue, and she probably thought they had forgiven or forgotten about it, and all of a sudden, boom, resign. So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So this thing about everybody feeling that they can be independent when they are being courted and have been married into a particular type of contract, and they feel they can just act out or still be independent. I still don't understand that dynamic. They now gaslight and do some form of hocus pocus. I don't know how it works. No. Yes, now, because sorry, let me ask you a question. You tear your gas slap. What happens next?
You're getting fired.
Yes. Or so what do you want? Do you want somebody to now sue their oga because they slapped their oga first and their oga slapped them back? There are certain situations that we can't just put ourselves in. So if you have issues with the workplace, they've cautioned you the first time. They said, don't record. You said, okay, no wahala.
Are you there?
Say that back in. Simple. It's simple. There's
hello, Yoruba. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Yeah, there's a post I put up on my WhatsApp status where a woman's child went to rob somebody, and the person the guy robbed was a kickboxer, a female kickboxer. The woman defended herself. Broke the guy's eye socket, and the mother of he was only trying to rob you. Why did you make him blind? Does that? So these things transcend the workplace, even it's in our everyday life. So I'm really against people choosing to deliberately, after warnings, to now try to oppose the law that they signed up for. Now, if you're going to talk about the political space or the political scene, the laws in Nigeria, I disagree with a lot of it. So we can, talk about that in a separate show. But my point is, if we're focusing on this particular one workplace, it's secluded to that workplace. Once you read, you sign, you have to adhere. If you can't adhere, you step away. Simple. Like, Abi, is there anything I'm missing?
You're sounding like, it sounds like there's one Gen Z that is stressing you.
Oh no, see, this one is not even about Gen Zs. It's not just about people. Yes, majority Gen Zs, in my own opinion, based on the conversations I've.
Hello, are you there?
He has his own. I'm here. So a friend of mine has his own firm, and this person that they hired, when they even told me the person's salary, I was like, oh boy, you should say you're not going to hire me, So he now said, this person didn't just show up at all for 3 weeks. No call, nothing. No call, nothing, no email. Then the person just walks in on the 4th week, was now harassing HR for salary. Imagine.
Are you sure there was no communication? Maybe I don't. What's going on?
Was
he working remotely?
I've known this person for 20 years. This person is almost like me. Like, what? There is no reason to lie. There's no reason to lie. So That's what happened. So you have these scenarios and you're wondering, like, what's going on with people these days? Is it that, like, I blame the left too? It's like they're just giving everybody liberty to just be anyhow. That's why you have things like this, you know?
Okay. All right. Now, I mean, you've said a lot, and I don't know. I asked Chidi this question, and okay, should an employee be expected to completely stop being themselves online because their employer isn't comfortable with their content? You know, where does reasonable control end? Iraba, are you there?
I'm here. I thought the question was to Chidi. Is it to me?
No, it's to you. It's to you.
It's to me.
Yeah, it's to you.
Yeah. So look, how do I put this now? It's like this analogy. You guys are going to laugh. So pardon me. It's like you have a sugar mommy or a sugar daddy who dictates, you know, how things run. It's the sugar mommy and the sugar daddy. You can't just wake up and say you ought to be doing anyhow. I mean, except you don't want the sugar. So now, if you're going to sign up to work in a certain place, there are certain guidelines. We cannot expect teachers to act a certain way. We cannot expect doctors to act a certain way. If you go to a hospital and you smell alcohol in your doctor's breath, and the doctor is supposed to operate on your family member, will you allow it? You won't now. If you see that the pilot that is going to fly you is probably, I don't know, you can't allow certain things.
Okay,
so yes,
I totally understand everything that you have said now. Okay, let me paint a scenario for you, right? In the workplace, they are upright. They do everything by the book. They have no flaws when it comes to the four walls of the office, the 9 to 5. But offline, they have another, maybe they are themselves. You know, they have a different identity. But in the workplace, they do everything, and you as an employee, you're looking at this thing, and you're like, I don't think I like this person's content, and because this person works with me and identifies with my brand, I don't like their content. Would that now be too much to address it?
Okay, so this is how I would answer it with this question. Is that person's lifestyle away from work, where they are acing it at work, is that lifestyle going to affect the work? If it's no, I don't care. Even me, as I am like this, I will speak for myself. I don't care if you are, I don't know what ill or wild thing you can think of. So far you are doing the job. You are not antagonizing.
Hello, are you there?
Concern the brand. That's when I would now have a problem. Do you understand? I know of straight. The person apparently did not know that the place that they were working is LGBTQ, everything. So the person was being themselves straight. I had an issue with the person being. If you get what I mean.
No, please take that again. It was breaking. I didn't. Hello, Irabo. You said you had a friend that was working somewhere and the person was straight and he had an issue. Can you take it again?
Working somewhere. The person he working is LGBT themselves over there. Now, they had to let him go because he wasn't conforming to their ways. Now, in that scenario, do you want that person to start faking being what he's not? In that kind of scenario?
Okay.
You know, so it just depends on the place, depends on the situation. It just depends. Really, we can't really unilaterally say this, except in some cases like the army. There are certain things you can't do in the army. Forget wokeness, you just can't do it.
In and out, inside and outside,
in and out.
Online and offline.
You cannot do it. You can't do it. Just forget it.
All right. City of Lagos, we have a bill to pay, and we'll be right back.